Welcome back. This is eNCA. Now, police in the country have faced one of their biggest challenges since implementing lockdown regulations. Over the past few months, a number of police brutality cases have been reported. This has impacted on the relationship between authorities and communities. Thousands of police officers have also been infected and affected by COVID-19. Well, let's take that conversation further and other conversations around safety and security. We are joined by the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele. Minister, thank you for talking to us. So your government has this pledge. One of the priorities has been for the last decade and a half that people are and feel safe. Well, let me suggest to you, Minister, that many of us are not feeling safe. I certainly don't feel safe in this country. Show me one area where South Africans are demonstrably safer today than they were last year.
Well, good morning to both of you there. Indeed, we will be releasing crime stats soon, Thulasizwe, but that is not the answer I'm giving to you. Indeed, it should not be the crime stats that tell the story. It should be the people themselves that tell the story that they feel safe. Indeed, you will find that many people that around the country, they believe they are not safe and they don't feel safe. Is exactly our job that we keep working together with the communities on those matters. Well, for your information, I would not say that so-and-so says feel safe, but there will be areas where people, they say life today is better than yesterday, and indeed they will say that life today is worse than yesterday. Ours is to work around that information to make sure that we work together to reduce the fear of the people, the danger around them, the murder, the hijack, the break-ins, and all those kind of things.
Minister, indeed, crimes are categorized, and you do the categorization yourselves as the police. I find it extraordinary that you can't point to one category of crime where you will say there's been a reversal in this particular crime.
Well, indeed, there's been a reversal on your cash heist, crime, on your bank robbery crime, on the house robberies crime, and on the house burglary. Yes, indeed, increase on the business robbery, business burglary, but on those crimes, there have been definitely the decrease on the crimes that I'm giving to you right now.
Mr. Bheki Cele, an admission that South Africans don't particularly feel safe now may be seen as a reflection of further admission that there is a breakdown of a relationship between the South African police service as well as society in South Africa. Numerous times, I'm sure you've heard this, South Africans feel that they cannot trust the SAPS. They feel that even when they make that call to report a crime, they cannot trust the steadfastness of the SAPS to respond. When they go to the police stations to report a crime, they cannot entrust the SAPS to deal with the matter in a matter of urgency and sensitivity. Amongst other things, when reporting rape incidents or sexual assault incidents. Would you agree, as the Minister today, that there is a breakdown in a relationship between the police in South Africa and South Africans?
Well, in some areas I would concede that is so, but not all the time and everywhere. Because the results will tell us the different story. For instance, the question that you are raising of the gender-based violence, well, I'm told that we're at F now, which is femicide. There will be some good results that have been achieved by the police. For the fact that there are 4,728 people that are doing life sentences in South Africa because of those cases, which means a certain police investigated and did very well for the judge or for the magistrate to give the life sentence. That number is increasing of the people that are sent in prison for a very long time. But also for the fact that the prisons are 37% overpopulated, which means the police are doing their job to send those people there for a very long time. Of course, there will be bad apples among ourselves as a family of police that are giving us bad name, but also there are very good police that are doing the very good job. Ours is to respond to the members of the South African police that are not doing the good job and act on them, follow our procedures, our our methods and measures to say you don't belong to this organization or some corrective measures.
Now, while, Minister, that number that you mentioned, over 4,000, cases being, obviously investigated successfully, prosecutions they being seen, 37% of, our prisons being overpopulated, as you've just mentioned. While those numbers are commendable, I think South Africans are looking for more preventative measures. People are not trying to be victims of crimes and then seeing consequences after. South Africans are saying we do not want to be victims of crime in this country at all. We do not want to be victims of femicide or gender-based violence at all. So the onus then is upon the South African Police Service to ensure that enough patrolling is conducted, enough protection on our streets, in our homes, at work, wherever we are as South Africans is conducted, so we feel safe and don't have to go through the measures of putting these perpetrators behind bars.
Indeed, the point you raised is exactly where you lost it, when you say is upon the South African police. Look, the statistics tells me that on the previous year, 38,000 women were raped at the places like home, at the places like where they're supposed to be safe and all that. So tell me what police will do if you are raped in your own home by your own husband, your own boyfriend, your own uncle, your own father. Hence, the call is a societal matter. So this problem of to say the law enforcement only will deal with the matter is really the matter that we need to relook at it. I want to make the point. I made the point in one interview about 3 days ago. And there is an issue that most of the time, by the time a woman is killed, is not attacked for the first time. For instance, the woman that was killed in Dobsonville by the taxi driver boyfriend, the brother said that was a 5th attempt. The question is, where are the friends? Where are the families? Where are all of us when the first, the second, the third attempt is done? The Pule, that was not a first attempt. So it's a societal matter that all of us will have to make sure that we have a clarion call. We have, as the friends, look around it. Unfortunately, the police, they come at the tail end, they react, we arrest you, but somebody is gone. But the preventative measures is for the society, is for all of us to say something is amiss there, and let's work on that to prevent and protect.
Well, part of the counter to what you suggested 2 days ago that got people talking, Minister Cele, around saying that most of the time when a woman is killed, it won't be the first attempt at killing that woman or attacking that woman. The counter to that is that police themselves, a lot of the times, are found wanting in terms of how they receive people who've been victims of violence against women. We've heard stories of women being turned back. We've heard stories of police just failing to do the basics of following up on some of these allegations and opening the cases the way that they should be opening and taking interest in what the story is that a person will be bringing to them.
No doubt about that. There are rotten apples among ourselves. Is one thing that we, even on our operation standard procedures, we have put it to say it's not the job of the police, Thulasizwe, when a woman is coming to report about the abuse, to send that woman back to negotiate. That's not your job. Police are not negotiators. Their job is to go and arrest those particular people. So when we get that information, we act on that. But not only that, we have tried to give an extra training on the specialization of this matter, which is the unit that is called FCS. We have 185 units around the country, and we've got 10 of those units that are specializing on things like serious rape and all that. We are treating them.
Minister, I'd feel more comforted if you said to me those officers who have not adhered to the standards that you're talking about have been dealt with, and you were able to demonstrate to us that in this case a woman went to the police station to lay a charge, and these officers tried to negotiate and try and settle what they considered to be a domestic issue, and we dealt with them. They now know, so that other officers know not to do this. Otherwise, we keep lamenting. We keep going around and round, and next year we'll be lamenting that there are bad apples. When do we get to a point where the bad apples know not to be seen to be bad apples, not to act in a way that shows them to be bad apples among the SAPs?
3 weeks back at our police station in Hampton Park, a lady was assaulted. I think she was stabbed 22 times. Went to hospital. Out of hospital because was out of hospital. She went back to the police station, and she was ill-treated, badly so. Those 2 police that ill-treated are not at the station as we speak. National Commission has acted, has taken them out of the system. This is 3 weeks back. We have spoken to the lady. The lady is fine. We have sent to the police who don't belong to this organization. When a woman that is so much abused comes here, you ask many questions and you don't assist. This happened 3 weeks back at Thulasizwe.
And do you not defeat the message, the overall message of government by some of your own pronouncements as Bheki Hamilton Cele, that include your contention at the time at which in April there was a police officer who was accused of rape, of raping his wife, and some of the comments there were seen to be rather, unfortunate, to say the least, when you were saying that when someone rapes someone, we don't say a pilot raped a person, we don't say a journalist raped a person, a taxi driver raped a person, we say this husband raped his wife. Why is it difficult for you, for instance, to wrap your head around the fact that there's a higher burden on someone who is a police officer, and the shock, for instance, in that particular instance, was around the fact that this person was a police officer, someone who should be protecting people rather than attacking people? Do you not defeat the message of government on violence against women when you vacillate on issues like this?
Absolutely no vacillation on that kind of thing. This is a domestic violence. The bottom line here, the husband raped the wife. Yes, it happens that is a police, but that's a point that was hit in Thulasizwe, and it was wrong to hide the point that this is a husband. The point that was made was the police. I fully agree, but I also want to say that Thulasizwe, who's an eNCA, indeed getting involved in the domestic violence of raping the daughter, raping Cele, raping the wife and all that, is a domestic, basic and secondary. It happens that Cele is a minister, or is a police, is a pilot and all. So the problem I had on that one, the point that this was a husband, which is a bigger problem. I've said to you, 38,000 of these women are abused in their own houses. So that's the first thing to tackle, that husbands, boyfriends, fathers, uncles really is a bigger thing. Yes, it's fine to know what's the job you do, but the basic, your access to be with that woman, it was because you're a husband or a boyfriend, and that is a bigger scash to fight. I did not protect the police, but I found that the matter was being diverted. The matter was watered down, that we're dealing with a gender-based violence. It's not a police out there in the uniform found a woman and raped, which we need to deal with that decisively. But this was a husband. Don't hide that point. The narrative was hiding the point.
Just to wrap up on this matter, Minister, because we do have limited time with you and we would like to go on a various, on an array of issues. What is the police doing differently to ensure that the scourge of femicide and gender-based violence in this country does not continue? The numbers that we've seen, of course, just during this lockdown alone are quite staggering. The number of stories which we've covered here on eNCA on women who have not only gone missing, but have been assaulted, have been killed at the hands of either their male partners or, men, have been quite shocking and staggering. And I think at this point, South Africans are looking for less pep talk, less condemnation, but harsher sentences and more realistic and a more trustworthy relationship with the South African Police Service. What can you assure women and South Africans today about what you're doing differently to ensure that you deal with the scourge of gender-based violence?
Let's go to June 1. I think that was the day when some ban was lifted. So 29 women were killed in South Africa, June alone. And without fail, all those people killed, those women were arrested. Without fail, all of them were arrested, including this month, a young woman that was killed in the Sweetwaters in Maritzburg, 19-year-old by the 29-year-old. But the extra batting on that one, that was the mother of the child for the very same man. But does it help? All these women are dead when the police are arresting them. But all are killed by either the ex-boyfriends or the boyfriends, the husbands or the father of the children. That's a point I don't want us to lose. To say the people around of all of us will have to have some form of understanding and input, because the police, when you go out with your girlfriend and you kill your girlfriend in the middle of your trip in the car, the police, yes, will find you, they'll arrest you, but you are dead. Somebody somewhere knows that there is a problem going forward, and then all of us, we must intervene. I fully agree with you. We'll have to work harder on preventative measures so that we don't come after people are gone and dead, but be sure. But for that to happen, all of us will have to put the wheel on the shoulder on this one.
I have to move on to this next point, Minister. Corruption in this country. I mean, as it stands, we are reporting extensively around, corruption in Gauteng. This around, this procurement of PPE businesses between government and various other businesses when it comes to PPE. And it's no secret that South Africans at this particular time, be it frontline healthcare workers, be it ordinary South Africans, be it workers in general, it's a need to have protective, personal protective equipment at this time. But we're also dealing with an issue of corruption here involving, some government officials. There's some senior and allegations have been made. My question to you is, what are you doing when it comes to investigations, when it comes to arrests of government officials who are found to be involved in any corruption related to PPE in this country?
Well, fortunately for us police, we're not looking at the government corrupt people. We're looking at corrupt people. Because these government people, for them to do corruption, they will do it. They'll do it with the people that are from the private sector. It's both private sector and the public sector. So we need to act against the corrupt people rather than labeling them who they are. The president has pronounced on this. The special team that is putting together 9 law enforcement units has been put together. I'm very pleased with the report proceeding. Surely we have arrested almost 36 people that will be mostly from government dealing with the COVID-19 corruption. But you have seen we have arrested people with the VBS. We have arrested the people with the pension money, where somebody took the money of the UIF, giving it to friends and everybody. Indeed, there is a lot of corruption. As the South African police with other law enforcement agencies were acting on it, and we need to continue to do so.
So let me ask you to put on your hat then as a political leader, Minister, and someone who was a champion for the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, before he became president. I remember you clearly saying that this man will do things differently. The age of impunity will end. This will be a new dawn, not your words, those ones, but it became known as the new dawn. Well, it's looking more like this is a long, dark night of corruption, really. There's no dawn here, let's be honest, Minister, in the sense that the same allegations that we were facing some 3-4 years ago. We continue to face some of them even now, including from people that you would have thought should have known better.
Well, I've just given you what has happened starting from under COVID-19. But again, I think there's been a movement. Quite several people have been arrested. Quite several mayors have been arrested around the country, and people that you would never had that there will be the action against them from the law enforcement agencies. There is.
But the ethos is not changing, though, Minister, is what I'm suggesting. The ethos and the ethics is not changing. There's no entrenched sense of respect for public resources, such that when we are having to borrow money from international lenders to respond to COVID-19, people just know not to touch that money or try to, cash in on it for themselves, because there's a new ethos. So what I'm suggesting to you is you came in as the new dawn, but you have actually failed to bring about that new dawn in the way that people think about public resources. Officials continue to think of public resources as being theirs for the taking, whether you look in Gauteng, in KwaZulu-Natal, in the Eastern Cape, everywhere really across the country.
Well, Thulasizwe, I will differ with you on that one. There was a tradition where everybody was fine that things were happening without raising the finger. I'm saying to you, yes, we haven't covered the ground that we're supposed to have covered in the last 2 years that this administration is there. But for the fact that even the structures that were flattened, even the structures that were killed, we are working on them. The president is working on them. The new appointments, your Hawks, your NPA, and other people, that tells you that we're taking direction. It took some time to flatten this structure. It's going to take some time. But from where I stand, somewhere it has been started.
From a political ethics point of view, Minister, and as a politician, a senior one, I will not accept a fence-sitting answer from you. Should Khusela Diko be acted against in terms of, right now she's on special leave as it is, but should she have a strong action taken against her, and should she have known better as a senior political leader in Gauteng, and should Bandile Masuku be asked to step aside? A political answer of a politician of your caliber and experience.
While investigations are being done, if they are found to have been the wrong side of the law, you act, and decisively so.
Should government officials be doing business with, should senior leaders in the political movement and in government be doing business, or their families be doing business with government? Do you see the conflict of interest there?
It doesn't need the conflict of interest. It needs what the law says. The law says the government people cannot do business with government. If you do business with government, when the law says you can't do it, you are breaking the law.
Minister Bheki Cele, I want to come in terms of, just the concerns that also South Africans have around, the IMF loan. There's so much concern that there will be looting when it comes to, this particular loan, which is meant to assist South Africans. COSATU has also raised its concern. Different economists have also raised their concerns. Now, when it comes to preventative measures, as far as, the police, alongside the work that you do with the Hawks, how are you ensuring and safeguarding, the country just in terms of looting in this country? Because at the brink of corruption, those who bear, the brunt, those who suffer the most are vulnerable South Africans that do need these resources. The reason why 26 years later into our democracy, we're still seeing loopholes when it comes to the health sector, in our education sector, and some of the challenges that government is currently facing is because of corruption. And the police, I believe, needs to play a very active role in ensuring and safeguarding that those who are found to be looting, found to have acted in acts of corruption, are held accountable. How are you then promising that no looting in this country will further take place?
Well, I can't promise that there will be no looting. What I can promise is that there will be consequences for looting. The police are part of the chain that deals with those things. It's not just the police. It will be your prosecution, it will be your financial FIC, it will be your auditor general, it will be everybody. The police, especially dealing with their specialized unit under Hawks, will have to act wherever they receive information, wherever the information is brought forward to them. As I've said to you, that from where I am seated, I have started to see good actions from the Hawks. I'm sure you have seen your UIF, you have seen your VPS, you have seen the arrest of the somewhere in Johannesburg of the FNB, including the COE, the COEs and FCOs of this organization. That is happening. So let's try hard to work with the structures that are preventative, like your Auditor General, your FIC, but the police themselves should work with these structures. When then it happens, if it has gone through the organization that are preventing, police must act and give us results, and there should be consequences for the people. Either they are private or they're in public sector.
All right, Minister, while we're having this conversation, South Africa as well has questions that they would like to ask you. We're receiving this question from Hlabi Ruamaepa on Twitter, and they have asked you, Minister, are you planning to put cameras on police officers, or this will actually never happen in South Africa?
I'm sure he's asking about body cameras.
Right.
Yes, it sounds like it.
Yeah, well, technology is the part of policing all over the world, and we need to move towards that. We have tried, we have spoken about it here, but it's opposed from some quarters. But remember, South Africa also is a highly democratic country where people, they think of the privacy of their lives and all that. But it's a good thing to do, but we'll have to navigate the situation among the Human Rights Commission and other people that are opposed to it. But any form of technology that will improve policing definitely will have to be implemented.
Yeah, personally, Minister, I would say that's actually a very good suggestion there from one of our viewers for body cams to be on police officers. So we don't have this toing and froing of saying this happened, this didn't happen. But anyway, let me quickly sneak in the other questions we are receiving from our viewers. There's a theme here, Minister, about your attitude towards alcohol. I mean, so someone called Rose Gold talks about your attitude towards alcohol and saying police visibility is only prominent when there's an alcohol ban, and that continues with someone called Gumede Jr. But let me actually read out the question from Uze Africa, who says, why do you insist on being a fundamentalist and making alcohol your scapegoat? You are twisting crime stats during a pandemic to suit your agenda and make it seem like you are actually doing your job.
Well, are you done with your question?
Yes, I am. That's the question from one of our viewers, Uze Africa.
No, personally, Thulasizwe, I can afford to drink alcohol, any form of alcohol. Can buy it and keep it. Some of it is in my house. My friends would know that visit me. But I really shudder to understand the consequences of the alcohol. You know, I have few friends that have gone and down because of alcohol. I don't have a single one that is up there, is high there, because was promoted and put by alcohol there. Some of my friends are 6 feet underground. Some of them are down and out because of alcohol. Personally, I do have a problem of the abuse of alcohol. I want to repeat, the abuse of alcohol. So if South Africans, by the way, Thulasizwe, there are 31% of South Africans that are taking alcohol. All this trouble of the bunging and all will come from there. So that's personal. Drink your alcohol, be good with it, be social. I don't have a problem.
But I guess what the viewer is saying, Minister, is that this doesn't absolve you from doing your job. I mean, we can't face a situation where you keep pointing to alcohol every time we say crime is on the increase. In 2010, when it went down, when crime went down, there was still alcohol, but you were able to put some actions into place that saw a turnaround in crime. So it means that you can still do it even if we have alcohol in our society.
I don't know where you get this new thing now of asking questions and don't want answers. You asked two-folded question about my personal attitude to alcohol. I gave you an answer on that one. The second one is a question of the so-called stats that I'm abusing. The crux of the matter, Thulasizwe, is that crime is less when there is minus alcohol, no doubt about that. We will be giving those crime stats out there. Less people are shot, less people are raped, less people are knocked by the cars out there, less people are stabbed. Is a fact that is because people that are from these outlets, they kill one another when they're drunk. Look, when these people come to these outlets, your taverns, your shippings, they come at 8, but they don't die at the time. They die at 4, they die at 3 in the morning after they've consumed this alcohol. So it's not the question of we're using these stats as if there are no facts. There are facts about that.
All right, I have to slot in this question, Minister. This comes from at Banana Parrot 69 on Twitter, and they're asking, Minister, why do you treat protesters like criminals? This, in brackets, they mean excessive, unnecessary force, and focus intensive resources on the temporary cigarette alcohol ban with no medical proof it worsens COVID symptoms, but you actually relax your efforts on rapists, murderers, and violent protesters. This is a question coming in from Twitter.
Well, that's a sick question. I've said to you 4,728 people are doing life that have abused and raped women. And I've said to you the prison of South Africa, 37% overpopulated. Those are not people about cigarette and alcohol only, are people that are doing all sorts of evils around South Africa. But there are no resources that have been focused on alcohol and tobacco. All resources are focused against crime in South Africa. I don't know this one of the protesters. Protesters, they need to follow the law. They don't have to break things. They don't have to ban things and all that. And then we will act accordingly when people break the law, when they have all the constitutional right to protest there. And the Constitution further instructs you that as you protest, you don't break the law, you don't cause harm to other people and their property.
All right, Minister Bheki Cele, we thank you so much for your time. We're completely out of time. Minister Bheki Cele, in conversation with us, a wide-ranging conversation about a number of issues that come up in as far as safety and security in South Africa is concerned. Indeed,
also touching on the gender-based violence and what they have done. Not satisfied with that particular answer when it comes to the work that the police have done, just in terms of arrests. I believe that a harsher message needs to be sent. Yeah. And I remember the minister made mention of, how it's a societal problem and a societal issue that we all have to, be a part of its solution, granted. But I believe if there were harsher sentences, that sends a message, and that says to any potential or aspirant perpetrator that you do not, play fire and do not participate in any of those activities, because there will be dire consequences. I don't think the consequences are dire enough to send a strong message. But we do thank the Minister, of course, for his time.